all over the country, and especially here in Mississippi. So we ask that everybody, keep everyone in your prayers who are going through different medical and hospital situations right now. Also, we ask that you keep those folks in your prayers. There's some traumatic stuff going on all over the world. You watch the news and you see refugees being brought in from Mexico and being brought in from Afghanistan. But you also see the United States government has officers on horseback with whips handy against the folks in Haiti. Now, come on, it's 2021. They done went and broke out the whips and the rope for the Haitian refugees. So I ask everyone, keep all those folks in your prayers as they go through this. But my thing is, either you let nobody in, or you don't just single out the black folks. Don't let the black folks in. You got to be fair across the board. You just can't say, hey, we're gonna let all the Hispanics and Mexicans in. We're gonna let all the Afghans in, but we're not gonna let any other Haitians in. And then it also surprised me how many people are silent. You don't see, when you see people harming the folks who are coming over from Mexico, you have all kinds of folks running to their defense. When you see folks bringing folks in from Afghanistan, whether you agree or not, because my position has been the same, either you let nobody in, or you do it even across the board. But it's amazing the silence of the Mexicans and the silence of the Afghans and the silence of all these other people who get support from black folks. This is amazing, the silence that they're not even speaking up for these Haitian refugees. You got 10,000 of them on the border of Texas, and the American government has folks on horseback, not even four-wheelers, and horseback. They went and broke out the horses and the whips, not the four-wheelers, not the dirt bikes, not any of those other. They went and put all the officers on horseback and gave them whips. Look, think about that now. Think about it. This is 2021. We got officers in cars and Jeeps and stuff. They ride through the deserts in Jeeps. This is 2021. But it's amazing that they had a full stock of whips and horses and on stock ready to go. But so I called on all of our federal officials to be even across the board. You shipping these Afghans in, you don't know if they are the enemies undercover or not, because even when you were in the war, they didn't have uniforms on, so you don't know who you bringing over from Afghanistan, really. They got the gates open in Mexico, in Southern California, but they got whips and horseback people riding around Texas, letting Mexicans in, but keep the Haitians out. That's not a good picture. Also, keep all our leaders in your prayers, because at this point, you can just pray for the folks in Washington, D.C. I think Washington, D.C. is way off the course from anything that aligns with where folks need to be. Let me catch this call. Hello, caller. Welcome to the show.
Good evening, Brother Sam.
Hey, how you doing, brother?
You got a good program starting up at Houston. But I want to ask you something.
Okay.
Now, all these people that's been at the border from Mexico and Guatemala and all the places, you don't hear them about that no more. Where are they?
Well, they still coming across. They just take it out the news. But my position was either we close all the borders and start taking care of Americans and focus on ourselves. But if you're gonna open them up, you need to be even across the board. You know what I mean?
Right.
But just don't give the Haitian refugees special treatment by getting on horseback, and break out some whips in 2021. Let me catch this caller, brother.
Okay.
All right. Hello, caller. Welcome to the show. What's your question or comment?
Mr. Stan.
Yes, ma'am.
How you doing? This is Phil
Hey, sir.
I would like to say this, and I don't care who judged me for saying this, but those men and women that are feeding those Haitians with whips, I hope they burn in hell on earth, not nowhere on earth. I know what some of the people are going to say. I do not have a heaven or hell to put nobody in, but I hope they burn in hell on earth because it's not right. It's just not right for them to be beating those people, and you don't hear nobody talking about it.
Well, Silk, that's why I had to say something.
And I'm angry about it, Mr. Sam.
And
what can we do to help those people?
Well, what we can do is we can ask those people who ask Black folks to help them all the time, who ask us to be the voice to speak up for them. Speak up for Black folks when Black folks have issues.
That's right.
That's all I ask. Everybody who leans on Black folks' energy when it's time to get elected, when it's time to do all these different things, you don't even hear the Black Lives Matter people speaking up about it.
No, you don't. You don't hear nobody talking about
That's why I said today, when I go on this radio, I'm going to say something about this issue.
I am mad as hell about it. No, I don't like it.
Yeah, so.
And I hope they burn in hell on earth. And that's just how I feel about it.
Well, thanks.
And whoever don't like what I said, talk to God about it. And I'm going to say, peace out.
Thanks, sir. So, again, ladies and gentlemen, keep all those folks in your prayers on both sides of the issue, because it's a way to handle business. It's a way to do things. But to pull out horseback people, the person who even thought about that, hey, get out the Jeeps, get out the four-wheelers, and break out the horses and the whips and the rope. You see that, I tell y'all over and over again, don't just pledge your allegiance to different folks. Pledge your allegiance to your issues and your priorities, because it's very important. Hello, caller. Welcome to the show.
Are you woke?
What's that?
Are you woke?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah, that's the code. So, I'm talking code.
Oh, okay.
DeKeither. I walk across the desert with a cup in one hand, a piece of bread in another. You don't know where I come from, and you don't know where I'm going.
All right, what's your comment, brother?
Black people need to wrap their head around what's really going on in America. They need the Haitians because nobody's working in America. White people sitting around strung out on drugs, and you see it every day when you ride through Jackson. And then you get the Black people hooking and crooking all day, shooting each other over who controlling the drugs. The Creator is doing different things. He's not dealing with a certain segment of Black people. He's dealing with them in a whole different way now. You all be removed if you're not trying to live right. And a lot of them still hooking and crooking down at City Hall. They've been getting away with the things they've been getting away for quite some time. But let me tell you, it's redemption time. You see what's going on. You see the hand of the Most High moving.
All right. Well, I appreciate you, Master D. I got a guest that just walked in.
But let me tell you this. They ought to be ashamed down there. And people got to make a change, and it's time to change the game. Thanks.
Thank you, brother. It's the last call. We're going to close the call, and it's the last one, y'all. Hold on a second here. Hello, caller. Welcome to the show.
Hey, this is Timothy Myles, running for constable.
Hey, Mr. Myles, how you doing, Chief?
I'm doing okay. How you doing, Representative Sam?
I'm doing well, brother. Ladies and gentlemen, in every race that comes up, I always have multiple friends that are involved because I know a lot of good people. And I said, at first I said I wasn't going to get into these races. But then I said, well, I have a platform and I got friends that are running for office. So we asked for several of them to come by, open the invitation up to all folks who run for office to come by. And the first one that came that's gonna come by is the chief down in Utica, Mr. Myles. He's running for Constable District 5. Welcome to the show, Mr. Myles.
Hey, how you doing, Representative Stamp? I'm glad that you let me come on your show there.
Okay, so tell the folks who don't know you a little bit about yourself and what you're trying to do.
Okay. First off, my name is Timothy J. Myles Sr., and I am currently the chief of police here in the town of Utica. Still working under the administration of Mayor Kenneth Broom. Been a lifelong resident here at Hinds County. Been here all my life, and I graduated from Utica High School. I'm a deacon of a church, St. Peter Missionary Baptist Church, pastored by Reverend Robert Divinity. I'm also married to Pamela Myles. I'm the father of 4 kids. And my work experience, I had 31 years of law enforcement experience, 21 years as chief of police here in Utica, and currently the chief of police. Also, I had 10 years I worked at Hinds Community College in Utica, as a police officer, and I'm currently a member of the Mississippi Association of Chief of Police. And also, I received a top cop award with it. And also, like I said, there's a lot of other things that, that I have done. I am a community person. Now, I love my community, the town of Utica. I have represented them for a while. Now, what I want to do is just, is take the time out to be your constable. Now, I want to just represent District 5 as your constable if you will elect me to. And so those are just a few things that about me. But, let my experience show that I can be a constable and be the constable that you want me to be. I want to make sure that I work for the people, and I want to make sure that I do the duties of a constable. When I do them, I want to make sure I do everything the right way. I am a fair man. I am honest, and I am a people person. So those are some of the things that I can tell you about me. Like I said again, I'm gonna let my experience work for you.
Okay. So if somebody wants to participate, how do they reach you?
They can reach me right now at 601-500-1165, or they can email me at Timothy Myles, that's TIMOTHY @att.net, all lowercase.
Okay. And what you want the people to do and when you want them to do it?
I want the people to come out November 2nd. I want them to vote for me and to serve them as their constable for the Hinds County District 5, which is a large district. So, I'm trying to get around. I didn't realize it was that large until I actually got into politics to be constable. But that's one of the things. Is this opportunity that I've seen to take, and Bennett Buckner is a big shoe to fill. But I want to be your constable. Like I say, I'm looking for you to come out and vote for me November the 2nd.
Well, we appreciate you, Chief, and thanks for all the help you've done down in Utica. I know every time we've had something down that way, you always been right on the spot, trying to help folks out and disseminate resources to help folks in their time of need.
Yes, sir. And I also want to just let them know that I am a certified police officer. Went to Malota in 1992, and so like I say again, I can't stress it enough. I will let my experience work for you.
Well, we sure appreciate you, Chief, and good luck to you in your endeavors.
Yes, sir. And I thank you for letting me having me on your show.
Yes, sir.
I'm looking forward for them to come out and vote November 2nd. Vote Timothy J. Myles Sr., Constable, Hinds County District 5.
Oh, I tell you, you sounding more and more like a candidate every day, Chief.
Oh, look out, man. I appreciate you. Thank you, man. Looking for y'all support.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Right. Thank you.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, it's always every race that comes up. I've been blessed to have good friends. We're going to have Mr. Larry White and Juan Cloy swing through the day, too. I get good friends in all these races, so I just open it up, let folks come by, and at the end of the day, let the people speak, and we're going to respect the people's decision. But to our next guest here, we got a young man who got cut off last week. in his talking about his testimony. And I got a lot of phone calls. Mr. J.C. Johnson, he's here again to stress that people need to be more resilient, need to, whatever you do, whether you, I don't want to start a war like the vaccine or no vaccine, but whatever you do, you got to put some practices in place to take care of yourself. It's, whether you take the vaccine or not. But if you don't take the vaccine, there's some things you need to be doing. Dropping a few pounds, losing a little weight, make sure you take care of yourself, social distance, wear a mask, all these things. So whether you take the vaccine or not, I want you to hear his story so you can see in real life the effects that this situation is having on real people. Welcome to the show, Mr. Johnson.
Thank you, Brother Stams.
And he is, and you always say you got to bring people, have people around you who better than you. And when I say this brother is always one of my spiritual rocks in my day, we walk together a lot, we spend time together. So I appreciate you for all your work, brother.
Thank you so much. The feeling is mutual. And I first like to say I appreciate this opportunity to be able to speak to the community pertaining to COVID. And I want to give honor to our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, in that it is in him that we live, move, and have our beings. And I cannot go through the day without recognizing him. Having said that, I want to share my story, or our story, really, because there are a lot of people that really don't know the effect that having COVID, and certainly perhaps not even knowing the effects of what it's like to lose family members that have had COVID. I'll share again as to how things occurred. My oldest sister, Patricia Ann Johnson Barnes Frazier, lived in Florida, as well as she and her family. Someone came to their home who had been exposed to someone who was positive with the COVID virus. And that individual was aware that they had been exposed to it. And she came to my sister's house and did not make them aware that they had been exposed to COVID. And as a result of that, 3 of my family members are now at Jackson Memorial Funeral Home. My niece died on August the 15th, immediately after having gone to the emergency room. And on September the 4th, my nephew died. And within 5 minutes of each other, and they being in different hospitals, we got word that both of them had expired. I want to say, yes.
So first, it starts off with somebody who was exposed, not taking proper precautions, nor notification, first and foremost. Then, other things transpired after.
And then they were aware that they had been exposed to this virus. So, and after having gone to my sister's home, she exposed my sister's entire family. And as a result of that, my nephew became very, very ill and was hospitalized. And he had been in, let's say, about a week already. Then my sister and her daughter became very ill. And when they made it to the hospital, my niece died in the emergency room. And so we were dealing with that and trying to putting forth the effort and getting her here to have her preserved until my sister and her son got better. Well, they tended to get better, but then something went south and they got worse. And so while my niece was on the phone with me, the living daughter, Heather, while she was on the phone with me telling me that her brother had expired. Within 5 minutes, we were getting another call. She said, hold on, the other hospital is calling. At which time they were calling to let her know that her mother, my sister, had passed. And so you talk about the distraught for a family to hear this devastating news. It was devastating enough with just one. And then with the second one, and then within 5 minutes, the third. I want to say to the community, you don't want that call about one,
Right.
let alone three.
So let's just pause for a second. Ladies and gentlemen, pay particular attention of who you let in your house. Since this whole thing started, I think I've been inside my father's house. I can probably count on my hand. I mean, he make you leave stuff at the door, spray it down, and then he brings it in. Right? Y'all still coming and going like ain't nothing going on. People still having parties in their house now. I was looking on the internet last night and I saw friends of mine, family members of mine having parties. So the reason I asked them to come back is, like I said, I don't want to get into the whole vaccine, no vaccine. That's a whole debate amongst itself. But I will say, COVID is real. These folks are not dying from breathing air. The people that are dying from coronavirus. Right, JC?
Absolutely.
So that's what's real. And only the strong will survive. So we have to make ourselves strong. That's why I say hats off to everybody who called in, who said they will commit to losing 10 pounds. That's the first step, is to getting your own body healthier.
Exactly.
Your own personal body. Get your body healthier. Because, folks are still dying from heart disease and diabetes, but they die from heart disease because they can't get in the hospital. The man went to 40 hospitals this past weekend. He went to 40 hospitals because he had a heart problem. He got put away from all of them because they didn't have room space for him, and he's now dead. All because he didn't have time to get, or he didn't have room to get admitted to a hospital. And he didn't die from COVID, he died from heart problems. So what I'm saying to folks, stop arguing about the lower issue. The main issue is, number one, COVID is real. Number two, your body must be resilient. And you can keep your body resilient by proper practices, social distancing, all that. Wear your mask, wash your hands, be careful where you're going and coming, who you associate with. Hey, we got another sister, Tamika Garrett. She says she will commit to losing 10 pounds. Only the strong gonna survive, ladies and gentlemen. I've lost 23. JC on the road to losing some himself. We went walking early today.
Yes.
We're gonna be out there tomorrow walking. And I ain't been doing no killer workout with no gym and weights. All I've been doing is eating halfway right. Okay? Halfway right. I still go out to eat twice a week, Wednesdays and Saturdays. So you can still lose weight, be healthy, and still eat some of the stuff you want to eat. But you got to decide, and I'm not going to get sucked into the arguments about COVID. I'm going to get focused on surviving COVID. And that's what I want folks to do, is to get focused on surviving. Get focused on what disciplines and practices am I going to put into my life? What am I going to do? Because just because you take the vaccine don't mean you can't transmit the virus. That don't mean that you are just inoculated from everything. You still can drop dead diabetes tomorrow and heart disease. So, which was already a pandemic in the Black community before COVID. We already had a heart disease, diabetes, kidney, and lung problem already. So what we're saying is take care of, if you love yourself, take care of yourself. If you love your family, teach your family to have the appropriate disciplines to not guarantee, but to at least try to put some things in place. I mean, our family, we even decided that, okay, just in case one of us gets it, this is how we're going to quarantine. Talk about it before the tragedy strikes so you'll know how you're going to react. Because I don't want another phone call like the phone call I got when JC called me. And he said, brother, I need to talk. I said, what you got going on? And you told me what happened to your sister, your niece, and your nephew. Man, ladies and gentlemen, you can imagine getting that phone call and then you having to reach out to your support system, which I'm honored to be a member of your support system. They have to help shoulder and help carry that. So what I'm saying, and then JC can continue on, just take care of yourself.
Absolutely. One of the things that is even more so devastating, I have talked to people that have actually had COVID or even dealing with it right now. And they are still defiant about not taking the shot. You know what? And sometimes I just don't even have the energy to go there with them because right now it's really, really sensitive. And I'm on the defense because it's really being selfish, really, because, okay, it's their right to do or not do, right? But then when you use your right and you come into the space of others, then you are infringing upon their right to be healthy.
Yeah, so whatever, like I said, whatever folks decide with this virus, with this vaccine issue, what I'm just telling folks is only go where you need to go. You don't need to be gallivanting all over town, going to all. You don't have, the government don't have to lock me down for me to discipline myself.
Yeah. The sad part about that is that just like any other law, if everybody did what they were supposed to do, there would be less need of laws. Laws are to bring about discipline and bring about barriers. So if everybody did what they were supposed to have done, or supposed to do, then there would be less need of a law. But because people don't do, think about we have enough trouble with laws and gun violence and all domestic violence and drugs and so forth. Well, what would it be like if we had no laws?
Oh,
you understand?
It'd be ridiculous.
With no law. So they say, well, the fact of the matter is that if we use common sense, commonality, then and just do the right thing. My son was in the second grade, and his teacher, I should never forget her, Miss Geneva Scott. She taught him at Wilkins, and she had a cliche. She said, "Just do the right thing." If everybody would just do the right thing, because notice this, it's getting better, it's getting worse. Okay. I was talking to a physician today. I think he goes to St. Dominic as well as UMMC. And it angers him when people are refusing to do what they need to do to better themselves. He said, if you don't believe it's real, come follow him up to St. Dominic's Hospital.
Oh, yeah.
Come follow him up to UMMC, where they have people in the hall that they don't even have room for. You understand?
Yeah, they got folks. I went over to the one hospital that's got the hospital in the parking garage.
Yeah.
So I want to make sure we focus less on arguing and focus on solving the problem. Back in the early 1900s, there was a Spanish plague that came through, and it didn't really affect Black community as much as it has now. Because we were to ourselves. You went where you needed to go, and you came your butt on back to the house, and our whole community, with less healthcare, less services, higher poverty, did not suffer the same loss that we're suffering now. When folks told you what to do, you did it.
Yeah.
When folks said do X, you did X. So I got a question. It says, I'm nervous. Tamika Garrett says, I'm nervous 10 pounds. Is there a time frame for? All we ask you to do is every Wednesday report back to where you are. And what we ask is don't focus on just losing the 10 pounds. Focus on getting healthier and the 10 pounds will come. Don't just focus on just losing weight. Just focus on being healthier. And every week as you get healthier, because if you're gaining muscle, you're gonna gain a little weight because muscle is more heavy than fat is. And you're gonna notice inches going away. So what we'll say is just focus on what we need to focus on. But I knew me. July the 15th, I was 232 pounds. And I got on the scale a couple of days ago and I was 209, which meant I lost 23 pounds. And then after that, I put this challenge out to lose 10 pounds. So we can all deserve to lose 10 pounds, from the governor down to me and everybody else. So, and I appreciate everybody who stepped forward so far. Report back to us every week about losing 10 pounds, where you are. And that first week, you may gain a few pounds, but then it starts to turn after that. So just be committed and every week report back on where you are on your journey, Ms. Garrett. But, like I said, Brother Johnson, they got 1 million people who are saying do one thing, which is take the vaccine. I'm saying it's more to do than that, because vaccinated people can still transmit.
Absolutely.
So I'm saying that everyone needs to continue to practice the disciplines. And the disciplines are the distancing, watch where you're going, wash your hands more often, wear your mask. We're losing because we got plenty of vaccinated people that I believe are just willy-nilly. And then you got people who are unvaccinated willy-nilly.
Yeah.
So both, whether you vaccinated or not, you need to get back to practicing the discipline. Just like when I sprayed this whole studio down before I came in. Mr. Johnson walked in with a can of microban. Then, when he walked in, I put my mask on.
Right.
Because I was in here by myself in an area that I had sprayed down and made clean. Then when he came in, he had his mask on. I put my mask on to keep the discipline. Hello, caller. Welcome to the show. What's your question or comment?
Yes, sir. You give not good advice, and I like the show, and I'm glad we talking about it. It's very important. So what I'm confused about, and I want you to answer this question. Do you think it recommend people should go to Jackson State football game this weekend as well as the second game on Sunday between Valley and Southern? You think we need to be at football games?
Well, I'm not going.
Okay. There you have it. Have a great day.
Okay, I mean, people can do what they want to do, but for me, I don't like being sick.
I was looking at a football game on TV. That was a live game. And I saw the stadium completely full. Mm-hmm. Everyone I looked at did not have a mask on. I'm like, all of this stuff that's going on. The sad thing about it is that people do not take this thing real. And then rather than trying to make themselves healthy, getting back to normalcy, how are you going to get back to normalcy when you got 1 million people that are dead that should still be living? Mm-hmm. Where's the normalcy? And I think that one of the problems is that rather than, and I will even impose scripture, mm-hmm. Perilous times are going to come. They're here. If you look from one spectrum of this country, just this country, not mm-hmm. let alone the whole world, and look at all of the travesties that are going on, don't you look like to us, if we would be seeking God to find out why, seems like things would get better.
That's right.
If we take Chronicles 7:14.
I got one more guest that need to come on, but yes. Give your final comments so I can bring my next guest.
Absolutely. Brother Stamp, let me say again, thank you for allowing me this privilege and this opportunity to be able to speak. My concern is this. I would ask that people would be safe, mm-hmm. that they would go get themselves checked, that they would respect themselves and respect the people around them. And if you know that you've got that stuff, that COVID virus, please quarantine yourself. And if somebody comes near you, let them know, hey, COVID-19 here, get away, get away.
Right.
But the fact of the matter is that it begins with each of us as individuals, and that is by, again, quote unquote, doing the right thing.
Well, I appreciate you, Brother John.
Yes, sir. And I'm ready to take this all the way to the White House, bro.
All right.
Make it happen.
Brother White, grab that bottle of Lysol in there by hand and come on in.
You can use my microphone.
Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it there. And y'all see me right here on those who are watching. He getting up, and I sprayed everything down for my next guest. How simple it is. Come on in here, Larry. Come on in here, man.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you very much, Brother John. Come on, have a seat, Larry.
Yes, sir.
Like I said at the beginning of the show, ladies and gentlemen, every campaign that comes across, every election time that happens, I always have multiple friends that are involved in most of these races. And when I got the call that Mr. Larry B. White running for Constable District 5, I said, well, come on by. I got a platform. So those of you who don't know Mr. Larry B. White, Mr. White, tell the folks a little about yourself for those folks who don't know you.
Well, thank you, Council. Well, I can't say councilman no more. I have to say representative.
All right.
Thank you for having me today. And of course, as you said earlier, I am running, Larry Big White. I am running for Hinds County Constable District 5. Just to give an update of who I am and where I've been and my experiences. I came here back in the late 70s. So I've been in Jackson nearly 50 years. I'm originally from Tuscaloosa, Alabama. I came here on an athletic scholarship at D Jackson State University, where I was participating in football. I excelled there on campus and made all SWAC. And of course, I was a Sporting News All-American. And I was drafted by the Buffalo Bills. I elected to play in the USFL with the Denver Gold first. Then, of course, I went over to Buffalo and played for the Bills. Then, at which time I came back to school during the off seasons and lived and resided here in Jackson. And now, fast forward, I'm here today to ask the citizens of District 5 to vote for me, Larry Big White, Hinds County Constable, on November the 2nd. And of course, Representative, I must say, I'm very happy to be here on the other side of the mic, because I've been here with you on your side of the mic,
Right.
with you running. And of course, now I'm on the other side of the mic.
So tell the folks, why should they vote for Larry B. White to be Constable District 5?
Well, first off, as I mentioned earlier, my experience is one reason. Also, my professionalism and my commitment to serving, meaning that's what I feel why, as the question you asked me, makes me the one for the job.
Okay. So tell the folks what you want them to do and when you want them to do it.
Well, first off, I want them to go out and get registered. Those that are not registered, they have until October the 4th, which is a Monday at 5 p.m. to go to either the Hinds County Raymond location or the courthouse or downtown location and register. You got to get registered. And then you can go ahead while you're there and vote once you get registered. Of course, early voting or absentee voting started on today, and the ballot is ready. I am the last name on the ballot for constable. So just remember, come all the way down the ballot and check Larry Big White, Hinds County Constable, the last name on the ballot. And of course, that's the very first thing I want them to do. Then, of course, on November the 2nd, I wish for all persons in District 5, registered voters, to vote for yes, Larry Big White, Hinds County Constable, District 5. President.
Well, we sure appreciate you, brother, for always being on the spot, always being, you do a lot of voter education.
That's correct.
And that's the number one thing I hear folks respond to you about, because you always have a constant message about registering to vote, when to vote, educating folks about the ballot. So I appreciate you for your consistency over the years.
Right. Well, thank you for that. representative, but I must say, I've gotten into better understanding about the process because I got more so involved. Of course, I've been involved since my coming into Jackson.
Yeah, but being a candidate making a whole lot different.
Oh my goodness!
Now you see from my perspective.
Yeah.
Now you see from my
so.
side.
Very much so. Very much so. And it's appreciated as well.
So if folks want to contact you, how do they do that?
Well, they can call me by calling me at 205-239-4483, 205-239-4483.
And ladies and gentlemen, I'm just gonna ask somebody, please donate Larry a new phone.
The representative always been on me. You know, I
he loved that little flip phone.
Yeah, I've had it, and I don't mind sharing it with the listeners. Daddy was sick back some years ago, and I had bought that phone. I went to the hospital. I was his power attorney, and they stated to me that they was trying to reach me. So they tried to reach me with not dialing 601, they were dialing 205. So that's why I got that 205 phone. Because I put it in my pocket and I can keep it with me. And I had it, this group grew to like it. Yes, although you and others may disagree with it, but it does.
It does a job. It does a job. So,
exactly.
So I appreciate you coming through. I got one more guest to come through, and we're gonna wrap this up. I sure appreciate you, brother.
Yes, and
come on back before the time.
We definitely will.
The last time.
We definitely will. We just want to remind people, get out and register to vote. And you got until October the 4th, which is a Monday at 5 o'clock, to go to either the Raymond location or downtown location at Hinds County Courthouse. Then while you're there, go ahead and vote. Go ahead and vote absentee if you're going to be at work or out of town or whatever on November the 2nd. You can go ahead and vote early. And make sure you vote for Larry Big White, Hinds County Constable, District 5 on November the 2nd, 2021. Thank you.
I appreciate you, brother.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we had Mr. Myles, we got Mr. White, and now we're going to have Mr. Cloy come in just a second to, let me see if I can get this thing to work right. Let me see if y'all pray for me. Me and this technology ain't necessarily working right all the time. See, oh yeah. All right, let's see. We got Mr. Juan Cloy. He, hopefully my internet is working properly. And but until he comes on, ladies and gentlemen, we've had a good show today. We had 3 good candidates that decided they wanted to come by, and we were waiting on Mr. Cloy to chime in. But Mr. Myles, Mr. White, you know, and Mr. all good brothers. You know, a few years ago, I was in a tug of war. Mr. White was right along with me. We were in a tug of war. Well, I was in a tug of war because I had several friends on the same battle. You know, y'all know Miss Angelique Lee. She was, running for City Council Ward 2. Both our good friends, Tyrone Lewis, running for District 2, Ward 2 as well. And that was one of the roughest ones that I've had because those are 2 close, what I could consider close friends, not just folks you know. And so I said at that point, if I'm ever in this situation again, which I pretty much will be as long as I'm having a mall radio show, I'm just gonna give everybody equal time to say their piece and let the people decide. I'm gonna pat the ones I'm gonna pat all of them on the back for a good run, and I'm gonna work with whoever the people send me, and go from there. I took that out of the book of Miss Eddie Jean Carter. For those who are there and want to participate in the process, you're welcome to come on by the radio show. Those who want to call in at different times, next week I'm gonna be booked the whole show. But the week after that, y'all welcome. Come on back by. You know, make sure you leave a little donation with Miss Evans. You know, help pay the light bill or something else. But we just thank everybody who always, you know, come by, all the good folks, and even the sheriff race. Y'all want to come by? Come on by. You know, I'm not endorsing anybody in any of these races, but I do feel that I got a little bit of of a platform and a voice around the area, and if people, good folks. Now, I don't just look at everybody. Good folks is on the ballot. That are serious candidates. I don't too much deal with folks who are just not serious, but good folks and that are out there. I can't get the thing to work right, Mr. Cloy. It's not. I don't know what the problem is with the internet, but you can give us a call in. Call in at 601-948-5950. I got it on here, and I don't see why it's not working. But give us a call at 601-948-5950. Hello, caller. Welcome to the show.
Hey, DeKeither, this is Juan Cloy.
Hey, so how you doing? I don't know what was wrong with the internet stream there, but we tried to get it to come on, and it didn't seem like
That's okay.
But ladies and gentlemen, we got Mr. Juan Cloy. He's always been a good friend of the show and a good friend, period. Him and his wife, Ingrid, just good folks. And he's running for Hinds County Council District 5. Mr. Cloy, welcome to the show.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
So for those who don't know you, let's introduce yourself to folks and tell them about yourself.
Okay, again, my name is Juan Cloy. That's C as in Charlie, L-O-Y. I have a uncommon name. I'm the second name on the ballot, by the way. I'm the second name on the ballot. I've been in law enforcement for a little over 26 years. I'm 56 years old. I have a storied history in law enforcement, from being a police officer with JP with Jackson Police Department to working for the FBI, to being police chief president, to being even within the department, being a community organizer, and then leaving the department, being a police chief, and then traveling the country training police officers on how to have a more positive interactions with the public. So I did that for 3 years, and I've trained officers all over the country. And now I'm ready to bring a lot of that stuff that I learned, a lot of those techniques that we use back to Hinds County, particularly just District 5, to put some of that stuff to work as well as do just the normal things that constables do.
Okay. So for those who don't know, let folks know what does the constable do?
So the primary thing that a constable does is he is to execute the laws of the state of Mississippi, and in particular the county. So that's one of 5 principles that a constable is supposed to do. And of course, most of us know about the serving of the papers, the summons and whatever, and also working certain hours as bailiff for particular judges. Now it says collect funds as well for particular fines or whatever, what have you, and turn those funds into the proper individual who's supposed to take those funds. So it's fairly well-rounded, but primarily it is, number one, to execute those laws that are given to us as law enforcement officers for the state of Mississippi and then the county as well.
Okay. So what are some of the unique things that you look forward to doing as a constable?
So some of the things that I already have planned are some of the things that I've been doing for years, and that is my community outreach on a more global scale, and my training. I have several programs that I have. One particular program is a program that I use with Atlas Energy, and it's titled "How Not to Be a Victim." And it's basically just about an hour and a half long program to teach you situational awareness. Some of the things that I learned from working with the FBI and being an FBI undercover agent. So I was able to put this program together using some of those techniques and obviously some things that I thought of as well. So it's a pretty fun program. And as I said, it's about an hour, 15 minutes, hour and a half, but I do it for free at no cost. It's just how I give back to the community, as well as my regular talks that I have with youth about staying out of trouble, about communicating, my talks that I have with adults about how to communicate with these youth as well, because we kind of got behind the 8 ball dealing with our kids, and as adults we need to get a little better and And so I know it looks a little bleak and grim in Hines County, in particular Jackson, but you know, there's always a rainbow at the end of the storm. So we're in a rocky road, in a rocky period right now, but in a few years we'll come out of it and we'll be shining like a new king.
All right, so tell the folks what you want me to do and when you want me to do it.
So on November the 2nd, I definitely want them to vote for Juan Cloy, that's C, the last name C-L-O-Y. My name is the second name on the ballot. If you want to get in touch with me, please just call me at 601-720-7119, 601-720-7119. That's anytime, day or night. And I'll definitely be able to accommodate. If I can't do it, then I sure will know somebody who can.
All right, brother. Well, we appreciate you for calling in, and next time we'll try to get this technology thing together. I was trying to be a little sophisticated, but
I know when we try that, it usually goes wrong. So, but we worked it out. It's okay, we worked it out.
All right, and again, y'all still got some time left for the election. Come on by one of the other Wednesday nights, not next week, but one of the other Wednesday nights.
I will definitely do it. I'll definitely do it. Thank you for having me on, sir.
Yes, sir. You have a good day.
All right, thank you.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. We got, I think there are 8 or 9 folks on, eight folks on that ballot for Council District 5. So I look forward to, you know, everybody making a good decision. We also talked about, at the top of the hour, we talked about, you know, holding federal officials accountable for the treatment of folks. You know, if they, my position is this: either treat everybody the same when it comes to entering the United States of America, or don't let anybody in. But the fact that we got people on horseback with whips rounding up Black immigrant Haitians, but Mexicans can just come in, and you flying Afghans in and giving them free healthcare, free food, free education for the rest of their life. And you flying them in, right? Flying them in. So either let nobody in, just shut it all down, or treat everybody with dignity and respect. Also, I was saddened at the silence of our so-called friends, people who normally use Black folks' energy to push their causes. The silence of the different groups that are out there, from the Latino groups, the silence of them is deafening. From the all the other groups that use Black folks' energy to push their agenda, all those groups, right? All of them. Handy, what are they, Handy? Where are the rights, the different right groups out there that always use Black folks' energy to push their agenda? They should be vocal in this moment, and their silence is deafening. Even the Black Lives Matter folks, the organization, now the people who believe in Black Lives Matter, is the term, but I mean the actual organization. Because there are plenty of folks who believe Black Lives Matter. But the actual organization, sometimes I question their focus on the issues because of their silence on the specific issues when it comes to Black families, and when it comes to specific issues. We should all question those things. So as we end every show, ladies and gentlemen, we always say, never let anybody put you in a position when you don't love your own people. Because when you hate your own people, you're part of the very oppression we're trying to lift ourselves out of. I love you, Jackson. I love you, Mississippi. Handyman, get us out of here. Love y'all.